Speaking of the new year, though, I saw a tweet from you that said you're 1 year of focus away from people saying you got lucky. And yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, that's an important concept. It's one of those things that I think about a lot, that once you've made it, once you've achieved success, everyone wants to call you lucky. All those people that were like in the dark, hating on you, all the people that were belittling you when you wanted to go and chase that dream, when you wanted to go do the thing, they're the first ones to call you lucky once you achieve it. And they didn't see all of the shit that you did in the dark, all of the struggles, all of the failures, all of the pains that you came back from. But they're the first ones that are going to go around saying that you got lucky on the back end. So I think the call to action is wear that as a badge of honor. When people are calling you lucky, you've clearly done something right, because you know what went in the dark behind it.
The other one is, I bet you had wealthy parents.
Yeah, you're privileged. I mean, that's been a meme over the last few years, right? It's like, well, that doesn't acknowledge the privilege. I do think that you think about your own life and like the life cycle. The early years of your life are governed by type 1 luck, blind luck, right? Like the base circumstances of your life, acts of God, where you're born, who you're born to, all of those things. But beyond that, your luck is mostly a byproduct of the actions that you're taking in your life. It's mostly a byproduct of the motion that you're creating and the things that you're building, how you're actually going out and interacting with the world. Idea being, it's very hard to get lucky sitting on the couch doing nothing at home. It's much easier to get lucky if you're going out and doing something.
Yeah, you've got a bracket that your world exists within, and much of that bracket has actually been determined by things that were outside of your control. But within that bracket, almost everything is within your control. And the fact that people can't hold two thoughts in their mind at the same time is where that gets confusing. And you get accused of victim blaming or not fully understanding the challenges that people face, or pandering and not giving people sufficient motivation and giving them a hard enough kick up the arse to get them to go and do the thing. So ultimately, I think that it's very difficult to please anybody, frankly. But yeah, the fact that 1 year of focus, it is absurd to look back as you get a little bit older and find individual 12-month periods where you say, wow, the difference between the beginning and the end of that. And for me, you can probably track it from the beginning of the year as well. It doesn't happen June to June. It does tend to happen January to December. And that's an interesting thing about resolutions. I know it's cool to hate on resolutions, to kind of take a more holistic view and say, well, there's nothing particularly special about January 1st. Why couldn't you have done it on December 31st? Because the human brain is irrational and it uses loads of random motivation. Look at you'll have seen this, the split times for marathon. And they all cluster around important milestones. They cluster around 3 hours and 3:15 and 3:30. But like, there's not a big spike at 3:37.
Have you seen diamond pricing?
No.
Diamond pricing is a perfect example of this. A 1.99 carat diamond versus a 2.00 carat diamond. It doesn't just go up by that tiny percentage. It's a huge leap, because the human mind has this like ego attached to the 2 versus the 1. No one wants to give their girlfriend a 1.99 carat. You want to give her the 2.01. So the price goes up like 20% on the slight jump. It's that exact thing.
Yeah. And that's why we're at the start of the year. I'm all for someone carrying the New Year's resolution thing forward. And yeah, you can achieve an awful lot in a single year.
Yeah. And you take the time to zoom out at the end of the year, no matter what, like no matter who you are. And part of that's because you have the space to do it, right? Like because of whatever you're doing for work, it slows down. Whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you work for someone 9 to 5, you actually have space in your life to zoom out and think at the end of the year. And so people do it then. It's natural. And as a result, you have a comparison point that is very natural from year to year because you were able to zoom out on an annual basis. I mean, I think about that all the time, of like just how much can change in a year. It's very easy to say that things take 10 years. Like, I think Bill Gates was the one that said that most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. And I've often thought that same exact quote applies to a year. I mean, it will blow your mind. If you actually sit down and are focused every single day for a year, your entire life can change.